Yes, people. It's your boy LP Coach, and I am back. I'm back with a brand new show of the Next Generation Baller Show. Yes, I showed you I'll be back. I just want to say before the start of the show, I know I've been away, but I have been working. I've been doing a lot. I had a little break. I went on holiday. I came back, started university. So I've been putting all ones and twos and lots of things together to make sure I can give you a wonderful show. But before I start the show, I just want to shout out all the people that suffer with mental health. Sorry, this thing behind me is getting on my nerves. I'm actually going to fix it. Give me 1 second. There we go. That's better. So stop moving back and forward. So, yes, I want to dedicate this show to the people that suffer with mental health. Like a lot of people that know me, like I've spoken a lot about my mental health journey and where I am today. A couple people has even shouted me, they want me to do a little documentary and stuff and speak about it. So I'm gonna speak about it a lot more, but I'm just gonna keep it short and brief. Like, yes, I've been away and I've come back. And for me, I've been through a long journey when it comes to the mental health thing. You know what I'm saying? A couple of years ago, head wasn't in the right place and decided I need to get help. I got help, and I say the last 2 years of my life has been an amazing journey in a sense of where I've been and where I've got to now. And just be able to fact that I know that I'm going uni, like the last couple of years, the holidays that I've been on, the experiences that I've had, the things I've got to do. And just even the other day I put out a little post and I wasn't even expecting the post to blow up like that. And it actually did. I got a lot of people that was giving me support and giving me nice, kind words, messages, and it was just like at a point where I was like, you know what? From where I've been and to where I am now, like I can be so proud of myself and doing what I'm doing now with the content, uni, like I said, situations, little stuff, my private stuff with my kids and my nephews. Like I'm just so happy. I'm so happy that I'm here. And trust me, I know I've been inconsistent with it in the start of the season, but I told you as we go along, I'm gonna get more consistent. I'm gonna get better, and I promise you, you lot are gonna enjoy what I've got coming on. So, enough about me. Let's crack on. Let's get into this next generation and game week. Don't forget to as well like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. This thing is getting on my nerves. 1 second, I'm gonna fix it. Yeah, because I just can't deal with this thing just keep wobbling behind me. Thank you. That's done. Yes, now we're back in. We're locked in, fully in. Yes. Game week 7, EPL. We're warm and we're cooking. Game before the international break. And you know what? Last week, like, even though I wasn't here, I wasn't able to do it. Like, I was fully ready. I was going to do it. Man United lost. And then I had 1, 2 things I need to sort out for uni and my kids. So let me just sort that out first. But my thoughts on that was how that turned out to how the whole games planned out last weekend was actually mad. So as a Man United fan, I wasn't that bad I didn't feel that bad about that weekend, considering all the crazy results that happened last weekend. So this weekend is an important weekend for a lot of teams. A lot of teams are going to be craving the 3 points going into that international break. Some managers underneath a lot of pressure. And Postecoglou, Amarin, Nuno just getting the West Ham job, maybe under a little bit of pressure considering his start. So there's a lot going on. Let's delve into it and let's see what's popping off. We've got a big game today. I think this game is a big game considering where the two teams are. And these two type of teams, Bournemouth and Fulham, the game today, these are the type of teams that are going to have big say on both sides of the table. These are teams that the lower teams will definitely feel, the relegation teams, that they can get points off on a good day. And these teams, the Bournemouth of the Fulham and the Fulhams, will believe that they're the type of teams that can go and get 3 points against the big boys. And I feel like when these type of teams face each other, we normally get a ball draw. But I think considering how the season's been and how these teams are performing, I do think this is a game where we're going to see a lot of goals. Bournemouth have only lost 1 game this season. That was the opening game of the season. But since then, they've been flying, 3 wins, 2 draws. Draw their last game 2-2 against Leeds. But they look like they're in form. They're defensively good, considering all the players that they lost last season. Mino Raiola, the Bournemouth manager, has been doing really well. Touted that for the Man United job, touted for many other jobs around Europe. And considering, like I said, the players that they lost, but the one player that they did keep that I told you not to watch out was for Semenyo. And that is a player that I wanted Manchester United to sign in the summer. I believe he would have had a more of an impact on that Manchester United team than Cunha and Mbeumo. Semenyo is definitely going to be a player at the start of next summer who every club around Europe is going to be interested in signing. Right foot, left foot, aggressive, strength, finishing, passing, crossing. Great player. A player that I feel that if Bournemouth can keep fit, I've said this many times on my previous podcast, he can go on and have a big impact for Bournemouth. And who knows what Bournemouth can achieve? Is it going to be European football? They had a good start last season. They trickled down towards the end of the season. Maybe some of the rumours got into some of the players' heads. But you let me know. What do you guys think? Do you think that Bournemouth are still going to continue, have a good season, get into Europe? Or do you think they're going to filter away like they did last season? Fulham, up and down, not really producing that much. I feel like they're defensively still a bit leaky at the back, conceding a lot of goals. They don't really have that much of a goal threat, but they do have goals in the team, if that makes sense. I do love Kevin, the winger, the guy they signed from Shakhtar Donetsk. I spoke about him last time. Really, really good player. And I think that could be the player. Same way I spoke about Semenyo. If he goes on and has a really good season, I do see a lot of European clubs interested in him. And you know what? It's World Cup year. And this is one thing I said about why we're going to see players. We're going to see players come from nowhere and have an amazing season. We're going to see players that we expect to have an amazing season, not have a great sort of season. But this is why I love the season leading up to the World Cup. This is when I'm growing up, I always love it because I feel like the players are going to play the best football because they know they are going to want to get into that World Cup team. So look out for a lot of players like the likes of Kevin, who I feel that because he's in the Premier League, if he keeps performing well, Ancelotti's going to have something to think about in terms of getting him into that Brazilian team. Fulham lost their last game against Villa, like I said, with the ups and downs, but won their 2 previous games before. If I'm going to make a prediction on this game, I said there's going to be goals, so I'll say maybe a 2-2. 2-2? I'll say a 2-2 in this one. Saturday, I'll start off with a big one, yeah? Big game for both teams because both teams are now starting to look a bit slippy and slidey. Yes, and that's Chelsea versus Liverpool. Maresca under a bit of pressure at the start of the season. Everyone was saying that he is this wonderful new manager. He's going to go and challenge for the title. Chelsea have spent all this amount of money. They had a good start to the season. Palmer's got injured. The last couple games is looking a bit shaky. We have Slot, won the league last season. Some would say that he won it in not a good season where a lot of teams wasn't at their best. Started the season a bit similar to last season in terms of getting results but not quite performing. But some of their signings are producing well. The likes of a TK, it looks like he's bedding in quite well, but some are questioning Wirtz, most expensive British signing, not really fitting in. And just a quick word on with the Wirtz thing. For me, I don't like that notion. You see this 7077 and all this stuff, that this new generation stuff, that's the type of thing I'm not really into. I come from the era where we was used to having the debates about foreign players coming over, having time, adapting to the country, adapting to the facilities, and then giving them time to bed in, and players that maybe come in and doing it a bit quicker. But we've seen players come in, have a good start, they get worked out, and then they get found out in the end. And then we have players that I feel start slow, get used to the league, and then after they get used to it, we have more consistent performances. So with Wirtz, I'm not really going down this 7-7 or 7 or whatever 007 stuff. Not really trying to go down that notion. Because simple fact of it, when you look at the likes of Højlund, you know what I'm saying, that's my guy, and how Man United treated him and what he's doing now. This is why I don't get involved in that silly nonsense. The concept is this is the best league in the world. We've got to give players time to gel. But with Liverpool, you still got the likes of Ekatike. He missed them in the last game when they lost against Crystal Palace. For me, I feel like he's one of the players that have gelled into this Liverpool team. Hey, Marina Harbour, I just want Man United to gel and get their flow back. Yeah, with Man United, I'm going to speak on Man United in a bit when we're playing Sunderland, but definitely I do agree with you on that point, and I just feel like it's about time, and I'm definitely going to come back to your comment on that when I speak about Man United. But yeah, sticking to Liverpool, I feel like with Liverpool Ekatike coming back, I feel like he's a player that I needed. Thank you for joining the stream, Marinda, as well, Harvey. I really appreciate that. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Yeah, with Liverpool and Chelsea, both teams that are sliding down, but with Liverpool getting Ekatike back, he's definitely a player that they missed in the last game against Crystal Palace. He's one of them players that I feel have gelled really well into the team. And it's going to be interesting how Slot approaches this game, because I thought it's definitely a game that they need to win, considering the performances as well in the Champions League wasn't so great against Galatasaray. So this is going to be a big game. Is the struggles going to be away for Liverpool this season? We all know at home they're very strong, but away it's looking a bit techie because all these new players gelling into the team. That can be a problem when it's going away. Can the players handle that pressure of being at a club like Liverpool? But wait to see. But at the same time, when you come against a team like Chelsea, big problems, like I said at the start of the segment here. They're defensively woeful. Let's just get it right. Chelsea defensively are shambles. All their centre-backs, I don't rate any of their centre-backs. I don't think that any of Chelsea's centre-backs are at the quality to be at the higher end of the table. The only player I would give maybe, but I still have question marks about that, is Coldwell. But defensively, they're shaky. And a team which is defensively shaky, I can tell you from experience from being a Manchester United fan, you're always going to have goals and opportunities against your team. And with Man United, what saved us a lot was we had David De Gea. Who's Chelsea's keeper? Who's Chelsea's keeper? So this is why it's going to be a very long season, in my opinion, because Chelsea have a very shaky defense, and their keeper is not at the level that I feel that's going to give them any hope whatsoever. But I do think there's going to be an interesting game because both teams need to win. I tell you, both these need to win to get the pressure off the fans over the course of the international break, because we all know a defeat before the international break is not a good one. You're going to have 2 weeks of rumours, 2 weeks of speculation, and it's not good leading into the next round of games, and the pressure is going to be really on from the journalists, and especially with Chelsea, who have a young squad with young players. We speak about the inexperience now. I think this is going to be one of the big things for Chelsea over the course of the season, and definitely something that they're going to need to address in the summer if they want to be challenging for the serious honours. Not no Carabao what's this, what was that, Conference League and the Club World Cup, this apparently that no one's ever won before. They need, if they want to win a Premier League and a Champions League, they're going to need experience in that team. So it's going to be a big season for Chelsea and Maresca, seeing that they can handle it. For both clubs, Slot and Maresca, they both need a win. What do I think the result of the game is going to be? I do think Liverpool will get the win simply because of the attacking threat that Liverpool have. And we've seen over the course of the season that Liverpool, they can have an all right game, play solid as a defense, and have that Salah, Ekatike, Isak can go and get that goal, or get a penalty or a set piece, Van Dijk. So I do believe it's going to be a cagey game, but with that being, that will work in Liverpool's favour, in my opinion. And I do think Liverpool will go on and sneak the victory. Yes, moving on now. Big game, my team. Big game for Amarin. Like, I can't stress enough. Like, with me, 1 minute I'm waking up, I'm saying I want him out. 1 minute I'm waking up, I'm saying I want him in. 1 minute I'm waking up, I'm saying I want him out. 1 minute I'm waking up, I'm saying I want him in. I'm going to go with this comment here. I just want Man United to get their job back and get their flow. And for me, I struggle because there's times I see it and there's times that I don't see it. And I'm struggling to understand why the players are finding it so hard to just play simple football. Like, and I'm not going down this, oh, the manager. I've been seeing this go on for a long time. I'm not going to go on about a long rant about the owners and all this stuff. I just want to try and stick it to as much as I can stick it to Amarin. For me, I think that he's doing all the right things in terms of how he's approaching the press, trying to stick with the truth. I think the owners are doing the right thing in sticking with him. And for me, if I was the owners, I would stick with him simply because of the fact that if we're going to change the culture, one of the biggest things, like I keep saying again, is the players need to understand who the bosses are. The players need to stop thinking that they can run to the media, control a narrative, get a manager out, fool another manager again, get a new contract, play shit, get the manager out, fool another manager, get a new contract. No. Even if Amarin, forget about the player needs to understand, and I've said this many times again, if you're Manchester United, you need to be able to play for Man United no matter who the manager is. Yeah, that's the philosophy that we need to come. Doesn't matter who the manager is, exactly like with Real Madrid. Doesn't matter who's at the helm. Doesn't matter who's there. You need to perform for Manchester United. The manager's telling you to do that. You need to do this. I hate this notion of what we're going on. Oh, players don't fit the system and this and that. Listen, you're getting paid well over 100 grand a week. You need to be doing what the manager's telling you to do. You need to adapt. You need to evolve. You need to step up your game, especially when you're playing for Man United. Every day, every minute, every second, excuses, players, get the manager out, this and that. This is not how you build consistency. This is not how you build discipline. This is not how you build leadership. Players need to understand, if you can't handle this pressure, if you can't handle what the manager is telling you, then you need to go. Then you need to leave. It's just as simple as that. Like, we can't have, thank you, like we too many times, and I feel like the fans as well, we need to I understand it's hard. And for me, I have them moments. This is why when I get angry and I just say, no, the manager needs to go, I've had enough. Then I wake up and I'm really saying that, no, like this can't happen again. We can't sack another manager. And what will happen, these players will come back in loan, they will have good media press and they'll say the right things and they'll get wormed back into the team and then we'll sign a new contract and we're back to square one. No, let's stop this. We started well with getting out some of the credences. We need to push through this barrier. I believe once we push through this difficult time and the players understand in their head, like, yeah, these owners are serious. We can't do this kicking out the manager stuff. He's staying. I'm gonna buck up my ideas, and I thought that that's when we'll buck the trend and we move on. It doesn't matter who the manager is. I feel like once these players understand what the owners are on, we'll definitely be improving on that. Big game against Sunderland. He has to win this game. There's not really much I can say about this game. If he doesn't win this game, it's going to be a difficult period over the course of the international break. But I still think he should be in charge if he does lose the game. Yes, I still think he should keep his job because this type of game is not the manager's game. I expect the manager to perform is when we're playing against the top 5 teams. The top 5 teams, that's on the manager for me. The lesser teams, that's all on the players. You as a player, man to man, when you step out on that pitch, you know that you have the quality to beat Sunderland. It doesn't matter where your manager is telling you to play or what he's telling you to do. You should have the ability to beat Sunderland. So that's my concept on that game. I do think it's going to be a cagey game. Sunderland have been amazing. I do think they're going to be one of the teams that's going to buck the trend in terms of everyone's predicting these relegated teams to promoted teams just to get relegated, and they've been doing well. Beat the likes of Nottingham Forest, unbeaten in their last 4 games, 2 draws, 2 wins. The manager's doing really well. Xhaka have been an inspiration to the club. I heard he's been like an immense leader. I watched a documentary or a little interview about him, and he was speaking that he actually wants to get into management. And one of the reasons and decisions that he picked Sunderland, because he said he had loads of offers around Europe, big clubs still in Champions League. And the reason why he chose Sunderland, because he wants to get into management. And he said he's had so much success in his career, always had loads of highs, that he said he needs to suffer. And that's interesting to hear that he said he needs to suffer. He needs to go to the ground. He needs to understand how it is to be at this lower level environment so that when he does transfer into management, that he has them skills to go on and push it. And I thought that, you know what, that's commendable to him, because at the time when he was at Arsenal, there's a lot of question marks about his attitude, about his love for Arsenal, or maybe his love for the game. And it just goes again to say that we can't always listen to these media connotations about a player that we don't actually know. That's why I don't really delve into this abusing and getting onto players, because we don't really understand their thoughts, their processes, their passions, and what they really want. And sometimes in this entertainment business world, we can we can all get blinded by the truth. So to see that little insight from Xhaka was really interesting, to see that he wants to go on into management, and he chose Sunderland simply for the fact that he felt that they will be a club that can push him, teach him a lot about being at the lesser level. So yeah, my prediction for that game, I do think it's going to be a cagey game. I do think Man United can slip maybe a 1-0 victory, but then again, there's still the likelihood that we'll concede a goal. So maybe we will get a draw out of that one, or Sunderland can get a victory. Who knows with Man United? Who generally knows? Arsenal versus West Ham, big game for both teams. Arsenal on a bit of a run of form. Pardon me. Arsenal on a decent run of form. Got a decent result against Liverpool, good result in the Champions League, and then they go up against West Ham, who again are looking to bounce back as a club. Sacked Potter, got Nuno in. He's going to be looking to make his mark on this team, and what a team to make a mark against Arsenal. So it's definitely going to be a game that West Ham are going to be up for. Can they bounce back? Can Arsenal handle the pressure? I do think how Arsenal been performing in the last couple of games has really impressed me, and I do think Arsenal will go on and win this game comfortably. If I'm being honest, I do think once Arsenal gets that first goal, they will push on and they will go on and win that game. Yes. Also, Leeds versus Spurs. Let's not forget the Spurs fans as well and the Leeds fans. Leeds started to pick up a bit of momentum. Spurs played decent in the midweek, but they'll be a bit disappointed with the result. I thought that Bodo Glimt winger, Berger, whatever his name was, I thought he was an outstanding, really good player. I think he's a player that we need to watch, definitely play. I think they'll come to Premier League. But yeah, Spurs played really well, not really well, but played decent. Will be disappointed getting a draw midweek. Leeds picking up some momentum, like I said, at home. This is the type of game that we could see Spurs slip up. I did say that Champions League is going to play a big part as well, and they're playing early. They're playing at 12:30 kickoff. So this could be a game that Spurs can maybe slip up in, and definitely a game that I feel that Leeds would want to go on and get themselves 3 points to really stake their claim in staying in the Premier League. Yes, moving on to Sunday's games. All right, 1 second, because I forgot to put my thing in. My charger. Oh, where's my charger? Oh. Sad people. I'm here. Yes, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Next Generation Baller Show. Ugh. Love for the support today. I've been away. I didn't expect this much people to be back here. I didn't expect you lot to be supporting. So I appreciate the support, man. I appreciate the love. Yeah, we're slowly pushing forward. Thank you very much. So Sunday's games, yes, let's crack on straight into it. Big game, Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest. Let's talk about Nottingham Forest and Poshka Dudu, shall we say. He has had a terrible start to life at Nottingham Forest. Man said 6 games and nothing. And for me, I didn't feel like this one. Hey, big up Rena in the comments. Thank you for joining it. Nice to have you back in the show. But yes, let's talk about Nottingham Forest, man. As Poshka Dudu, what's going on? And for me, I didn't think this was going to work, if I'm being totally honest with you. The reason why I didn't think that this was going to work, simply because of how it worked out at Spurs. And it looked like he just joined because he's his friend. They're both Greek, if you didn't know, even though they're both from Greece. So I did feel like he just got him because maybe he's someone that he knows that he's going to listen and do everything that he says. And I feel like that's why it wasn't going to work. I feel like when it comes to football management, I feel the owners and the managers need to be able to bounce off each other with ideas. When you put yourself in a situation where you become a yes man, like I feel like Andrew Postecoglou has done, and his reputation as a manager, I do think it's not a good recipe for Nottingham Forest moving forward. And I do think this relationship is going to end quite quickly, because I don't think that And I don't think that the owner, is going to have the trust and faith to be giving Ange Postecoglou any money. Nottingham Forest spent a lot of money in the summer. They got themselves into the Europe. They wanted to be competitive. And knowing the owner, he definitely wants to stay in Europe and be consistent in European competitions. And I do think with 6 games and no victories, I do feel like if he doesn't build up momentum, even if he gets a victory and then he starts getting a draw and a loss and it becomes up and down, I think it's going to be gone. I feel that relationship's going to be end quite quickly. And I do think with this game against Nottingham Forest, who are in great form, they played well in it midweek in the Champions League. I feel Gordon is starting to really become himself. He's a player that was questioning a lot. People were saying, does he have the ability to get goals? This season is starting to look like he's pick up and he's doing really well. And his performances are starting to be a lot more consistent with him and Ilanga, who I feel has been outstanding. I put him in my PFL team. He had a bit of a slow start, and I'm definitely considering to put him back in because he is definitely a player that I watched over the course of pre-season. Watch his how he trains. If you haven't watched Ilanga, go and watch how Ilanga trains. His training is absolutely outstanding. If you're a winger, you want to be explosive and you want to be strong and you want to be fast, definitely watch how Ilanga trains. And by the way that he trained, and I thought this guy's gonna have a really good season because he's definitely got his mind on track, and his the man of the match performance in midweek for Newcastle in the Champions League is starting to show that training is starting to work off for him. So I do think that Newcastle are going to put a dent in Nottingham Forest's what can I say? Because they haven't even done anything in the Premier League yet. And I do think it's going to get to the point where the owner's just going to be like, you know what? It's going to be enough. He's definitely, at the start of the season, Nottingham Forest would have saw themselves as a team that should be competing against the likes of Newcastle. They're definitely a team that they should be chasing, maybe pipping themselves to get ahead definitely if they're looking to be consistent in a European spot. So if they don't perform well and get a decent result, I do think the manager's going to have the owner's going to have serious questions about Ange Postecoglou and them moving forward. Big game as well, Brentford versus Manchester City. Brentford going to be on the high after kicking Manchester United's arse. Absolutely shambolic for Manchester United. Got absolutely done, smoked. Yeah, you can say everything you want to say. Yeah. Let's not. I don't even want to. Yeah, don't even want to. But yeah. Even saying that the name Brentford is just making me having them flashbacks, and I'm just feeling a bit So I'm just, let me. There's 2 teams I don't really like, and I've got. Let me make this one a bit quick. Brentford versus Man City. Yeah, Brentford going to be on a high after beating Manchester United. Man City definitely looked like they're coming on a decent run of form. Had a decent result during the midweek. I definitely felt it was a game that they should have won, but conceded a penalty in the last minute. Haaland definitely looks like he's on form. Foden looks like he's back, which is very important for England as well. Foden looks like he's back in his form, and it definitely looks like he's kind of up to his levels in terms of a player, his physicality as well. And I do think, considering the form of both teams, I do think Manchester City will go on and get a result in this game simply because of the hurt in midweek. Definitely a game that I felt like they wanted to win. And pushing on in the Premier League, I do feel that they want to make a claim. With the result against Arsenal would have definitely hit them hard as well. So I do think they want to start building that momentum when they can start getting over the line and getting more consistent in them victories. Thank you everyone for locking in. Like, since I've come back and I've started doing this, I appreciate you guys. You guys, this one here is kind of, you lot are making me feel good. You lot are making me feel nice. So I appreciate it. Guys, lock in. I've got lot of things coming out. I'm even going to be doing some stuff, some like personal, something like I said at the start of the show. Someone's asked me to do a documentary talking about my mental health journey, where I've been, where I grew up, and where I've got to now. So definitely look out for that. Got some stuff coming out with some projects that I'm doing with other stuff, with interviews and all this. I've got it all lined up. Trust me, I'm not a guy that talks stuff. So lock in. This week as well, I'm going to give you guys a more consistent time of when I'm going to be coming on. Like I said, I've just started uni. I've sorted out 1-2 little personal stuff. I was just juggling everything around. I told you, as time goes on, I'm going to be getting better. So I'm going to be giving you a time to be locking in every week as well to me on the show. But before I end it, please, guys, don't forget, hit the notification, subscribe. I'm also on TikTok. I'm also on Instagram as well. Look out for me on there. I've got shorts and that, and YouTube and TikTok clips. But again, guys, also, so don't forget to let me know your predictions. What do you think is going to happen for the weekend? Let me know who you think is going to score. Man U. Come on, man. We got to support our team. Even though right now they're putting us through torrid times, we still got to have that belief. We still got to have that hope. But guys, thank you. I really appreciate it. I don't want to be dragging it on, but I will be back on Monday with a review of the games on the weekend. I promise you, I definitely will be back and I will be more consistent. And don't forget, people, lock in. Let's go, buddy.